Good morning. Hope everybody's having a great week. We're having an Indian summer here, and that's a fact. It's very warm and very nice, and some flowers blooming. And this will be a very exciting message today because I have absolutely no plan for it. This is actually a shot from an old Western movie. They used to film a lot of Westerns out here. I forget what it's called. I like Westerns, but I started the one that had this specific shot in it, and I don't know, I lost interest or didn't have the focus. I don't remember. So let's just wait, give me a second, and I'll see if anything comes up. And I wish I had a tripod or a stand, and I don't. Try a juniper tree. Wouldn't that be cool if this thing worked? Maybe. Okay, I'm back. Phone stand is officially created with rocks. So as I was saying, let's just see if there's anything coming up. Okay, so there's actually no agenda here. In general. There's no agenda for you, there's no agenda for me, there's no agenda for anything. For life. Life has no agenda. And life is what you are, so you have no agenda. That means that in one way anything can happen, and in another way you can create anything you want. There are no limits to the expression of this, of life, of consciousness. There are also no rules. So however one approaches this, there is no wrong way. There is no wrong perspective. There is no wrong interpretation. There is no wrong result. There is no error in the expression of this. And that means that this is whole, complete, and perfect. And so this little nagging voice will say, but it's not perfect. The discomfort in the body will say, but it's not whole and complete. The appearance of form suffering will say, how is this perfect? And as long as this perfection is expected to do anything or to be anything or to appear any particular way, it's gone. Because this wholeness is prior to that appearance. Yet it also is that appearance. So it's a seamless, unified, cohesive expression in all things, as all things, through all things. And it should be distinguished, the non-dual message, the expression of the wholeness of this, or the perfection of this, or the freedom of this, that should be distinguished from psychology or the mind, or the sense of separation, the sense of an I am, the appearance of an identity, which is a psychological structure, also energetic. Because there has to be an emotion, which is an energy, in order to create thought. And then obviously the physical body is necessary for the emotion. So the reason that I say that there must be a distinguishment between the two is because so often this message is approached through a mental framework and through a conditioned cognitive approach. And it distills what these messages points to into something that can be controlled, manageable, digested, processed, mentally assimilated, which actually, this is not a mental message, so it can't really be mentally assimilated, no matter how hard you try. And in this body, it took years for that cohesion to begin to appear and to make sense on a personal level. Years. In the relative reference of things. And so mental health somewhere down the road does get addressed. It does get examined. And because the origin of this message is harmony, of the non-dual message is harmony, that seeps into the mental framework of the person, meaning that the person will begin to adjust, recalibrate, and begin to move towards harmony, towards wholeness, towards healing in a relative sense. And so that's happening in the world of phenomena. That's happening in the world of form. That's happening in the world of things that come and go, shifts, alchemy. In that realm is a very limited realm. Here in non-dualism, we expand that realm. We expand the limited framework of that realm. And we touch upon something more boundless, something more free. And so that's not to say that these are two separate things. They are, in fact, one and of the same thing, except the perception here is one of freedom. It's one of no expectations. It's one of spontaneity. It's one of radical surrender. It's one of extraordinary sensitivity and intimacy. So you can sense that this is a different approach. You can sense that this is a different way of being. And so it would make sense that the mind would say, I want that. How do I get there? And there's nothing wrong with that. That should be a natural impulse or a response to the non-dual message. It's not that your seeking is wrong and your sense of separation is an error and you have to get here. That's not it at all. There's just simply a simulation of this deep inner recognition of one's truth, of one's inner being, of one's true nature. And that is singularly one of the most, when the system starts to come into its own harmony through its recognition of what is true, meaning changeless, meaning timeless, meaning it does not shift. When the mind and the physical structure begin to assimilate that, it impacts everything. Okay, it impacts the whole, because we are all connected. We are all one. So this is a different kind of activism in a way. It's one that recognizes the intimacy of one's being as connected to all of life. So meaning, when you come into harmony, everything in the world, in the universe, on the collective level also comes into harmony. And so looking for power, looking for to get the right way out in the world, it's not a sensical thing, because this happens on very subtle levels. It happens on the level of who you are. That's the only true, lasting, and permanent harmony that could ever adjust the personal level. Like, as long as you're seeking like tools, which is totally fine. I seek tools too. I've used many tools for my own imbalances. But as long as freedom is sought through tools, and even if the non-dual message is packaged up as a tool and utilized on the personal level, because there's a deep difference between sitting in silence with this message and then using this message on a mental level in order to try and fix one's life. Like, you absolutely cannot do that. It will fuck you up if you do that. It honestly will. It's not a healthy thing to do. And it does happen, because it's just the natural way the mind interprets non-dualism. What can I get out of it? What can I do? What does that mean for me? How is this going to shift me? You can't be non-dual. Whatever speaker you're listening to that appears non-dual, like, it's just not it. It's not true. It's just not. There's no such thing. I mean, the identity and the ego could create something like that, but it's not a permanent, lasting structure. It wouldn't be a functional thing. So what's being talked about here is very unique and individualized and perfectly attuned to just you, to just your expression, to just what it means to your mental framework, what it means to your physical system, what it means to your own unique relationships, to your own unique interests, hobbies, dreams, goals. How does this resonance express through that? And can you allow it, that expression? Can you shift the way that you approach life? Are you willing to do that? And I'm going to guess you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to this. So let this process unravel in whatever unique, individualized, perfect, whole, and complete way it's doing right now. In all the circumstances and all the different frameworks it's set up, just let it be. Let it do its thing. You're dealing with an incomprehensible, literally, intelligence. And so get out of the way. We've learned our whole lives from early on that we have to control our environments, ourselves, our life in order to survive. And that's just simply not true. It's just simply not true. And it's the biggest error in in thinking that there is, in my opinion. So something deep, which is what you are, will begin to let go and surrender at greater and greater levels, because that is the natural cohesive evolution of this movement, the movement of liberation. So before you know it, triggers that you've had are just not there anymore, and you wouldn't even know that they're not there anymore because they're not in the realm of your awareness anymore. They're gone. If it's gone, it's gone. So you wouldn't even be aware of it coming or going because it would be gone, right? So things do shift, and they will shift, and that's that. And I don't think I have anything else to say today about that. I didn't really have a plan for this message, but those are the best kinds of messages. So anyway, have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you soon.